So I think last week we did everything on the mat, if I remember correctly, but it's a bit cooler today, so I thought we'd be a bit more energetic, and that energy will come into our transition on and off the mat. So as always, just pick your options, do what works for you. Let's begin. So come to stand when you're ready. Balance and legs to start with, focusing on creating that pelvic control, lumbar pelvic stability as we move into some leg movements. So feet hip distance apart, a nice simple one to begin with. Just place the hands on your brim of your pelvis. That'll give you a little bit of feedback, and that's really important because we want to control this pelvis. We want stability in this area as these legs move. So just making sure your pelvis rests level, doing a few pelvic tilts to find that level position. I think we all know it well now. And then we're just going to start by peeling one heel off the mat and then switching for the other. So we come into our lovely walking pattern. One heel lifts, the other heel lowers, keeping that pelvis from rolling forwards and backwards, but also not letting those hips kind of hitch from side to side either. So it's all about control. And if you're struggling with that, draw your focus to your center and just below your belly button, gently draw into your spine, nice and light on those heels, rolling up onto the ball of the feet, and then switching over to the second side. Who's just joined? Hi, Vanna. Lovely. Keep it going nice and light. And then if you feel comfortable, feel like you've got that lovely control in this mid region here, we'll just let the arms loosely hang by the side and start to pedal those feet a little bit quicker, but without losing that control around your pelvis. Nice and light. Focus back on center if you wish. Keep going. Okay, building up that movement now, getting more blood flowing to those calves, feeling that tension build up in those calves. We go for 10, go for 9 and 8 and 7, 6, nice and steady pelvis, 5, tall through the spine, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Lovely. Now peel your left heel off of the mat and tuck your right heel underneath. So it's all about this standing leg for now. Okay, hips nice and level. Now we're going to focus a bit more in on that center. So breathe in to prepare, breathe out, tummy to spine, and as you breathe out, float your foot off the floor, standing tabletop, and then we lower. Same leg, lift and lower. Keep your hand resting on your right hip. Make sure that pelvic position doesn't change. So we don't want that hip to dip out to the side. We want to keep it nice and steady as we work on lifting and lowering this standing leg. So outer glutes working on your standing leg, hip flexors working on your moving leg. Come up and down. Keep breathing. And you're almost using that core. Draw your tummy into your spine to hold the weight of your leg. Aiming to get that knee in line with your hip for 3, for 2, and for 1, and then we take it into a hold. So try and make sure knees in line with hip and it hasn't crossed into the center. Try not to let that hip drop down and this hip stick out. Keep everything nice and level and grow tall through your spine. This leg should be heavy now. If it's not heavy now, it will be in a minute. Okay, for those that want a little bit more balance challenge, we glance over the shoulder, one side, and then glance over to the other side. Good stuff. Now, same leg. We look forwards and we lengthen the leg out in front and tap the toe to the floor. Fold back to standing tabletop. Inhale, exhale to lengthen. Keeping that pelvis level. Inhale, exhale. And if you need standing balance support, just hold light fingertips on the wall. If you don't, we're going to add an overhead reach. So as we lengthen the leg away, hands come up. And as we fold, hands come down. All about this pelvic position. So no hitching of your pelvis, keeping your pelvis nice and level. Lengthen, exhale, shoulders down. Inhale to lower. This is your first option. I'll do 2 more. And 1 more. Now, second option, we don't tap the toe down. So as we lengthen, we stretch out the hamstrings, long leg, and fold back in. Keep that tummy active as we lengthen and fold. Okay, so really loading up that standing leg, and that moving leg should be nice and heavy now. Really squeeze the thigh when you get to the end of both of those positions for 3, for 2, high as you can with that foot if you're lifting it off the floor, and then we lengthen and hold. So stretch the leg away, toe taps down, really light pressure with the foot on the mat. See if you can lift and hold, shoulders away from the ears as we hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Lovely. Come down and shake out those legs. Oh my goodness, that was 5 minutes. I feel like we've been working out for ages. Really good one for the legs. Let's try it on the opposite side now. So shake out what you need to, and then we take it into the right leg. So standing tabletops to begin with. Find that neutral spine, engage with your center as we lift and lower. Now you might find this leg feels harder because we've already tied it out as it took our load. Now it's got to move, and the standing leg has already done a good amount of movement, and now it's just got to hold our body weight. So breathe, rest when you need to, but really focusing on that level pelvis as we lift and lower through the right leg. Tummy to spine coming up and down, up and down. We've got 3 more. 2 more. Shall we hold this next one? So really connecting with your center, tummy to spine, checking in on that level pelvis position. Beautiful work, guys. Looking nice and steady. Well done, well saved. Okay, looking over the left shoulder. Challenge that balance. Ooh, I've not brought my balance with me today. I must have left it at work. And then over to the right shoulder. Okay, back to the center. We inhale, exhale, lengthen and tap the toe down. Inhale back to tabletop and lengthen to extend, and really point the toes so you're getting a really nice long leg. Beautiful. Okay, keep going with this for a few more, and then we'll add the option in. 3, watch that standing hip isn't hitched out to the side, tuck under. 2 and 1, release the hands and keep going, or take it into that standing leg stretch. So we bend at the knee and straighten, squeeze the thighs, stretch the hamstrings for 5, lengthening with your breath out. 4, it's a tough one, drawing in through center, standing tall through standing leg. 3, 2, shall we hold this next one? So lengthen and hold, shoulders down, tummy to spine. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Well done. Tap down. Oh, did anybody else find that really hard? Or was it just me? Thanks. Okay, we're going to take it into a nice wide stance now. Turn the toes out. Bet those of you that come on Thursdays are glad we're not doing that again this week. Maybe I'll do it next week just for you. Okay, so let's just work a little bit on our pelvic tilts. This stretching out those hip flexors as we tuck under and then send away for 3, 2 and 1. Lovely. Now we're going to breathe in, breathe out, lunge into left leg. Keep that right leg nice and straight. Breathe in, breathe out, lunge into your right leg. And imagine you're stood against a wall and you're just sliding along the wall. So try not to come forwards. Keep the hips stacked over, the shoulders, sorry, stacked over the hips throughout. And you could rest a lovely glass of champagne on your head. Lovely for opening up the thighs. And on your next one, rather than having your leg point in the diagonal, see if you can make your leg as flat as possible. So really pushing into the outer borders of your foot. You know that little blueberry we rest underneath our arches? Looking good. Okay, take it over to one side and we hold here. Connecting in with your center, press into that knee. So push it away from the front. Tuck your tailbone underneath, make your spine nice and long. And we're going to add those slow arm overheads now. So hands float up, shoulders slide down, tummy to spine. And then back down again. Keep holding that side. Lunge, we go again. It's lengthening, coming up, coming up, coming up. And slowly come down. This is your first option. Second option, we add a heel raise on your bent leg. So heel lifts as the hands float up and then lowers for 3. Working in through center. for 2. And then we're going to come up and over to the top and hold it. So lift your heel off the mat, open out through that hip, externally rotate your bent knee, tummy to spine, tail tucked under, shoulders down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now keep the arms where they are, drop the heel up and over to the second side. Open out the hip. Now try not to let your trunk twist with that movement. So really trying to get as much out of this hip as possible, pressing into the outer borders of the feet, lifting hands, tail tucked under, tummy to spine. Hands come back down. Okay, exhale to float the arms up, tummy to spine, shoulders down. Beautiful. Now this might be you, or you might want to add a lift and a lower with your heel for 4, for 3, slow and steady, 2. Looking good, everyone. Pressing into this leg as well, don't let your arch drop. And 1, hold, shoulders down, tummy to spine. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Drop that heel down, come back to center, keep the arms lifted and bend into both legs. We just take it into our plie squat. Let's make it a little bit more energetic now. So down and up, bring the pace back up a little bit, sliding down the wall, up and down. Now shoulders connected to the wall, tail tucked under. Good stuff. Pressing into those outer feet, work those adductors. We've opened up the hips, so we should get nice and deep into these, but obviously just do what works for you. If the arms feel heavy, rest them down and then go again. We've got 6 more. We've got 5 more. Let me see how you're doing. 4 more. Beautiful squats. Well done. Keep that chest lifted. 3, much better. 2. Holding this next one. Challenge yourself to go as low as you can, tail tucked under, and we hold option 1, or we alternate heel lifts option 2. Now those heel lifts should look like there's nothing happening at the top half of your body, only the bottom half. So we're not shifting from side to side to get the weight out of the heel. We're keeping our body stacked in the midline as we lift and lower through those heels. Feel those quads work. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Slowly up and release. And walk your feet back together again. Now, if that didn't get the blood pumping, the next section will. So we're going to work into our roll downs. We'll just do a few roll downs, but once we've warmed up, we're going to take that roll down and walk it out along the mat into a plank and then draw back up to stand again. So your options are to come down into your plank on your knees or into a full plank. Let's just do 2 roll downs to begin with, just to open up the spine and slow things down before we quicken them up again. So breathe in. Breathe out, peeling down through your spine, 1 bone at a time. Every segment in your back deserves to move. Knees are soft, remember, for these. Take your time. Slowly with these, and then we'll speed them up in a moment. And then stack back up. And then when you get to the top, we take it through again, so slowly to begin with. Okay, take your time to come back to stand. So now we've kind of introduced a little bit of mobility to the back. We're going to take the roll down a touch quicker, but still try and work through every segment of the back. Then we bring ourselves into forwards fold. Knees can be bent if you wish. We walk the hands out along the mat, and we either drop the knees down or lift the knees full plank, but we don't stay there. We walk the hands back together, and we slowly come back up to stand. Now, even though we're just in that plank for a moment, we'll keep it nice and controlled. So you want to work with an active core. So as you come and walk out, start to think about tucking your tummy towards your spine. Now think about shoulders driving down away from the ears, head is lifted and tail tucked underneath. Knees can be pressed to the mat if you need to, or you can try that full plank. Up and down. So nice and dynamic. We come in and out and in and out. Let me see how you're doing. Good work, everyone. Beautiful. Keep it going. We've got 3 more down and up, starting to get a little bit more of a heart rate building up, but still enjoy that roll down and up. Try and focus still on every segment of your back, even though we've sped it up a little bit. Breathing through your movement. Not to worry too much about where the breath comes, but just make sure it keeps coming. Now holding that breath. 2 more. Okay, holding the next plank, so knees or toes. And we'll just check in now on our form. So if you're in the full plank, back of the head is lifted, shoulders down, tail tucked under. Lower your hips so you're creating a diagonal line through your body. Ribs drawn towards your pelvis, tummy towards your spine. And for those that want the kneeling option, we just drop those knees down. Now we stay looking at the floor, but we keep the back of the head lifted. And at any point, if you need to come down and out of your plank, you can do so now. Let me see how you're doing. Wonderful planks, everyone. Beautiful work. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Keep that tummy engaged. 3, 2, and 1. Now you get a rest here, so sit back into your heels whilst I demonstrate our next exercise. So we're going to do mountain climbers, which can be done from the knees or from the toes. So from your knees, you take your leg and you draw your knee towards your chest and then release. Okay, so that long box position, bringing through the knee and then taking it away. Full mountain climber is just exactly the same, but we come from the full plank position. Now you can drop the knees in between, have a little rest, not a problem. I want you to work on slow, controlled movement so that you could rest a tray of drinks on your mid-back. You're going to get a little bit of rounding of the pelvis, and that's fine, that's good. Tuck your tailbone underneath as your knee comes in towards you to really crunch that core. Think about that abdo prep movement that we do where we float the head and shoulders off the mat. We shorten the ribs to the pelvis. We're doing exactly the same, but we're shortening the pelvis to the ribs this time. So using that shortening to engage, contract those core muscles, resting when you need to, keeping your back level, keeping your weight equal through both shoulders, as we climb up the hill or the mountain for 10. Wonderful, everyone. 9, I'm going to join in. I need to do some mountain climbers. 8, 7, I've got a lovely surprise coming up. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now you're going to hold your plank, knees or full plank, or final countdown, we're going to run up the hill. So knees come a little bit quicker now for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. Now drop down. Couldn't have done that last week in the heat, could we? Hips to heels and stretch out in your shell stretch. Woo, deep breaths. Really good for hip flexors as well. If you did get a bit of clunking in that, that's a good one to practice, but practice that slow, controlled movement. So we're going to come and just do some prone work on our fronts, working the glutes. So if you want to have a little look and then join it. So the start position is resting with the head down on the hands. So you've got a little bit of a space to breathe into. And then we're going to tuck the tailbone towards the heels and bend the knees. And as you bend those knees, you might find that your back just wants to arch. So try and keep your back nice and long. Flex your heels, so your heels are resting towards the ceiling. And then we're going to squeeze the bottom and float one leg off the mat. Imagine that there's a button on the ceiling and you're trying to press it with your heel. And then we alternate to the opposite side. Now, it shouldn't feel like you've got a huge amount of movement with this exercise. We're not really trying to lift the leg off the mat too much, but we're trying to dissociate that movement from your back. So keep your back still and squeeze your bum and get as much out of that hip as you can. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Watch those shoulders haven't crept up to your ears as we rest with the head down. Keep alternating between right and left. Knees bent just to 90, no closer, no further. Checking in on those knees every now and then. I'll come and check in on you, alternating side to side. Really think about your bottom with this one. This is a really good mind-body connection exercise. So squeeze your bum before you lift. So you're really sending those signals down to your buttock. Fabulous. Now you can stay here, keep working alternating legs. Otherwise, we're going to add a little bit of extension at the top half of the spine. Try not to let your back arch too much with that extension there. So stay looking down, hands on the mat, but as you lift your foot off the mat, head floats up as well. And then we lower down. And we take it to the second side, lift, lower. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, lift, and lower. In to prepare, exhale to lower. And for those that want that little bit more, the hands stay glued to the forehead, and we lift and lower. Whole of the upper body comes up as those legs lift. Now you'll get a little bit of a shortening in your lower back, so try and keep that tail tucked under and avoid that extension too much in your spine. Keep your pubic bone pressed to the mat and use those glutes to lift. And if you don't like the head and the hands, just work on the head. And if you don't like the head, just work on the arms. We've got one more on each side. Keep going. And then we're going to take it over to the right hand, the right leg, and we're just going to lift and hold with or without the top half of the body. Squeeze that bum, lift and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Swap for the left leg. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Come down, head down, and stretch away. Let's have a nice stretch through the back. Tuck your tailbone underneath and lengthen your spine. So fine with that one. No matter how much we try and keep that length in the back, it's so easy to come into extension. So we really want to create that opening in your lower back. Okay, just push back into a shell stretch once more because it will feel quite nice in your lower back. And then we'll set up for some abs to finish off. And we're going to do our abs in sitting this evening. So either face forwards or face along the length of your mat. I will move between the two positions. We're going to do our roll backs, which feel like we do them and then we don't do them for a while, but I do feel like we've done them a few times over the past month or so. So this is all about that C-shaped curve in your spine. So we start with the knees bent, the feet planted on the floor, and we sit nice and tall, okay? Lengthening through the crown of the head, hands behind the crease of your knees. Breathing in. Breathe out, tuck your tailbone underneath, shorten your ribs to your pelvis, draw your tummy in, really connecting with your centre as you roll back. And remember, you go as low as you want to, not as low as you feel you need to. And then the shoulders come forwards and you stack back up to sit, pulling up through that piece of string like a puppet, nice and tall. And we go again. So roll, 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 coming down, hands just gently resting behind your knees before we come back up again. And if you don't feel like you need your hands there, you just rest them by the sides of the body, tummy drawn to spine, and then back up to sit. Beautiful. Now watch those shoulders. So as you come down, try not to let those shoulders roll around you. Keep length in your collarbones as if there's a piece of string pulling your collarbones apart. Much better. And you've all got beautiful head position, so keeping a little gap between chin and chest as you roll back. Nice and deep. Well done, everyone. 3 more. 2 more. Keep these nice and slow. Okay, we're going to add a hold at the bottom now. And as we hold, we're going to float the right foot off the floor, tabletop and down. And then the left foot off the floor, tabletop and down and back up to sit. Okay, so just adding that pause at the bottom, lifting one foot off the mat, using that lower core to bring that knee off the floor, just like we did in standing earlier. So as we lifted the foot off the floor, we worked on sucking that tummy in towards that spine. Use that core contraction to support the weight of your legs. You can still have your hands behind your knees with this. That's not a problem. Beautiful. So first option, we come down, we alternate a tabletop on both legs, come back to sit. Second option, super simple, just don't come up in between. So keep alternating those tabletops until you feel like you need to reset things. Okay, so you could be here, tabletop one side, tabletop the other side, tummy drawn into spine. Okay, and there's always another option. Other option, if we think about our scissors on the mat where we tabletop legs, we're going to go a little bit quicker. So as one leg lifts, the other leg lowers. Now that really fires up these thigh muscles, these hip flexors. So only do it if it works for you. Now I'm going to count you down. Take your rest as you need to for 10, 9, really feel that core working. Last little push now. 8, woo, 7, light on your feet, long through your shoulders and neck. 6, looking strong, everyone. 5, I wouldn't do anything I couldn't do myself. Wouldn't ask you to do anything I can't do myself. 4, and I'm struggling here. I should count a bit quicker, shouldn't I? 3, 2, whew, and 1. Slowly roll down onto the mat and bring your knees with you. Roll in like a ball. Hug those knees into your chest. And then gently rock from side to side. Well done with that last one. Well done with all of those. As mountain climbers are really difficult. And it's some, you know, if you do any kind of HIIT workout, it's probably something that you find comes into a lot of those exercises. So it's just good to visit it with slow control, precision technique. And then if you do find yourself doing them, of course you'll be better at them. Okay, full body stretch for me. Stretch from top to bottom. Let's really lengthen out those abs that we've just worked really hard. And as we didn't start with breath, we're going to finish with our breath this evening. So allow your feet just to roll out to the side and bring your hands back by your body. Hands down, palms facing up, and just let those shoulders roll open. And now you've just allowed your body to rest. Let's see if we can get that mind to rest with it. Knowing how easily our mind will time travel us away. Let's bring that focus back to present moment and our breath. And just following, observing 3 more cycles of breath. Really try and get that breath right down to the base of your lungs. And really try and release that tension with your breath out. And then when you're ready, bend your knees in towards you. You can give your knees a little hug if you'd like to. And then roll onto your side and come back to sit.